Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 30 of 30 Days Strong. I just have to sit in for a moment and just kind of like take that in. 30 days, 30 days of sharing with you powerful, lit, shamanic skills to up level your life and to show you that you are powerful. 30 days of remembrance into your greatness, your beauty, your awe, your splendor, your graciousness, your givingness, and all of your power and your majesties. I am honored and am so happy that I got to be here for you and to lay these things before you so that you can remember how absolutely amazing you are. You know, every day I would get up and work out and pray and meditate and prepare myself to be here and to show up. It was literally such smiles waking up with my country music playing, dancing around my bedroom, getting ready to be here to share with you so much love and to lay things before you to remind you who you are, to help you embrace and understand that the age of guruism is over. The age of hierarchy is over. And it is time for each and every one of you to step into your place of power. No more dancing around your throne. No more skipping or looking at it from a distance or hiding behind a wall and looking at your power and your majesty off in the distance. This is the time now for you to take your seat in power, to sit in the center of your being and create the most beautiful, wonderful things in this life. The words, the expressions, the ideas, the innovations, all of it. Anything you choose to create as a creator, I know because you've showed up every single day for yourself and for this world. And that in itself is an act of kindness and love and generosity and goodness to your being and to the beings of those on the earth who don't even yet know the love that you have demonstrated by showing up for yourself that affects their lives and makes it possible for them, for when they're ready to wake up and join in with the tribe and the song and the dance and the celebration, that they get to wake up and see that the path that could have been difficult has actually been made easy because of you. That is something absolutely wonderful. Mm. And you are the one that you've been waiting for. Not your statues, not your idols, not some influencer or public figure or someone outside of yourself that you've read in a storybook about the amazing things that they have accomplished and they have succeeded in. You are the one you've been waiting for. Not the person who comes in and tells you that they're going to make everything wonderful for you because they're your what people think is their twin flame or soulmate. It's you. It's you. You have been the one you've been waiting for. And you have arrived. And so I want you to take time for today and the next day to celebrate that. Celebrate that welcoming home to yourself, that acknowledgement that every statue and every guru and every shaman and every type of person that you've put in front of you or above you as having some degree of knowledge or wisdom or power is the person you've been waiting for is you. And I'm excited for that. I'm so excited for that you now see that, understand that, know that, and embrace that. So go ahead and give yourself a big, big hug. I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you. I thought I was waiting for you through someone else or something, but it's you that I've been waiting for. You who has all the wisdom and the grace and the beauty and the love and the joy and the creativity and the innovation and the geniusness to create awe and wonder in your lives and in the lives of others and on this planet. It is you. And all I had to do was acknowledge you, see you, and tell you the truth. Tell you how powerful you are and how beautiful you are and how divine you are and how loving you are and what a light you are. And that things come to you easily because you are beautiful and wonderful and divine in every way. I am so in love with you. I am turned on by you. I am thrilled to share this life with you. It is you you've been waiting for. I don't ask a lot from people. I don't ask a lot. I don't say like, hey, if I give this to you, I want this from you. I don't really ask a lot from people. I don't ask people to do things for me. I'm a giver. And I learned that earlier in life about myself, that I always felt like I always had what I needed. And what I needed was just God, was source, was creation, was the nature spirits, was magic, was the energy of life. And so I never was a person who was like, oh, I need to have this and I need to ask people for this and I need to do that. So, when I do ask of something, it's really important for me because it takes a lot for me to ask for anything because I'm always about creating that sustenance for myself. And I'm such a giver. So it's just my nature to give all the time without expecting anything. And I don't expect anything of you, but I do have something I want to ask you, a favor, if you will. And the favor that I have to ask you is, which would make me really happy if you would say yes to this. Okay. What I need from you, or what I would ask of you, and this would mean the world to me. Like if you could give me anything, if it be money or material, or if you were like giving me a donation or anything, like, and you think, what can I give to Shaman Durek for all the love that he gives to me so openly and freely without just opening up everything that represents him and his ancestors and everything? What could I give him? And so I'm going to ask this of you, okay? I ask you from the bottom of my heart, okay? Because this really means a lot to me if you will fulfill this for me, okay? I ask you from every fiber of my being and every soul that I am and everything that I represent in this dimension and other dimensions, I ask for you to take care of yourself and to take care of others. I ask for you to inspire this world with your words and with your love, and to love those who don't even think they can be loved, those who the world has turned their back on, those who the world has judged as evil or dark. I ask you to not give up on them. I ask you for every time you talk to someone, you tell them beautiful things about themselves. And then you tell them that they can do it. And how beautiful they are. And how loved they are. And how you haven't forgotten about them. And that's why you came to Earth. And when people make mistakes, because they will, and you will too, I ask for you to be gentle on yourself and know that we're growing and evolving And I ask you not to be so harsh upon them and so angry at the world and angry at those who haven't woken up and those who do not know yet. I ask for you to support the consciousness of shift and lift for all future generations, no matter where you are in life, no matter what you are doing. I ask this of you. If there's anything you could ever give me that would make me the happiest person in the world, it would be that. You take care of each other. You take care of yourselves. And you take care of this planet. You take care of the animals. And you take care of everybody, no matter how they are, no matter if they're woke, no matter if they're angry or upset. You hold space for them and you love them. And you love them and you keep loving them even if they say mean things to you. You love them. You love them greater than anything you could ever imagine. And that's what you can give to me. What's the greatest gift you can give to me? That's the greatest gift you could give to me if you were ever to give me anything. Not your money, not material, not anything. Nothing from this physical realm would satisfy me other than that. That is what I ask. Okay? Please don't forget. Don't forget your brothers and sisters in the darkness. They want to come home. Don't forget them. Don't forget them. Don't forget them. It's hard to be in the darkness, to think you're alone and everyone has turned their back on you. So I ask this one gift. Don't give me money. Don't give me anything. Just give me this promise that you will take care of yourselves and your brothers and sisters no matter what. If you have to open your home to feed someone, if you have to give them forgiveness and acceptance so that you both can move on, just give it to them. Let go of all of the anger. Let's let go of it and just give it to them. Even those who have done you the worst things, just give them grace. So that the shift and lift movement goes on for eternity on our planet. That we become a civilization of people who shift and lift, not blame and shame, punish and deny, separate and ostracize, judge and condemn. Promise me, if everything that I live for and everything that I am and shall ever be, no matter what, you won't forget this. You won't forget what I've asked from my heart. What I ask of you. Okay. I'm glad that I got to share, to ask of you and to share that with you. Okay. Because I'm not going to live forever. But the teachings of the elders will live through you. All of the wisdom gets carried on through you. And if I ever can leave you with anything, I leave you with asking a favor for you to love greater and bigger and wider than anything you could ever love. That's why I came to earth. That's why I came back from the dead. That's why I'm here. And this is what I live for every single day, is to see our world healthy, to see the sickness of humanity removed, and to see people shining and laughing, sharing and honoring and loving unconditionally and accepting each other, no matter what color, no matter what your sexuality, no matter who you came from, where you came from, what choices you made in the past. The past is archived. It's now that matters. And what you do from here. And that would make me a happy ducky. Okay. For those of you who don't know, my nickname as a kid was Ducky, so that would make me a very happy ducky. I know I'm such a crybaby, but again, it's from the core of my being, and I can't hold back my truth because of fear of being vulnerable. I have to let you know how I truly feel and what I wake up to every day feeling and knowing in the core of my being. And that's what makes me a happy ducky. So, yeah. Okay, moving on. So I know today's the last day of 30 Days Strong. And I am, of course, thinking, with my beautiful, amazing team who've so graciously stepped into this life to support me. And I just want to acknowledge all of them. I'm so grateful for my niece, Alexandra, for being my manager. I am grateful to Sam of 11 years, started off as an assistant so long ago and has stuck by my side through everything and has, raised himself up in the company. I am grateful for my lawyers, Jonay. I'm grateful for my niece, Natalia, who handles all the sound and production. I'm grateful for Ken for handling all the production with KNEKT TV and being so wonderful brother. I'm grateful for all of for my team. I'm grateful for Tanya Connie, my publicist, who saw vision to bring my message to the mainstream. I am grateful for my publicist in London, who also has brought the vision to the mainstream. I am grateful for Dax, who opened up doorways for me in London to share with powerful people in the world. I am grateful to my amazing, beautiful goddess, queen, illuminator, wisdom holder, just my other half, my girlfriend, Princess Martha Louise of Norway, who is just the most amazing woman. And they always say that it takes a strong woman to help a strong man, and that's the woman behind me. I'm grateful to my love of my life, and I'm grateful for my mother and my father and my friends, and I'm grateful for my community, and I'm grateful to all of you, because you give me strength every day and joy and love. And you give me the ability to see that I can do anything to make this world better, even if I even have to give up my life for what I stand for, I will do it. Because to make this world a better place for our children, that is the most important thing in the whole entire world. And I am grateful for all of you for staying strong and standing in your truth. And even when people have laughed at you or mocked you or called you crazy, I'm so grateful for all of you who have gone through so much pain and abuse and hurt and separation and loss and ridicule and oppression, and still you stand. Still you are here. And I am grateful to all the ancestors and teachers and masters and elders and spirits who have walked their walk and left their knowledge as fruits and apples and pears and beautiful things in which to nourish our bodies, so that we can nourish our mind and our soul to make choices that align with God's will for love, for expansion of love, and for totality of love to exist in this region of the universe, which was once held in darkness, and now the light has moved through. And as we move through this dimension and be able to show that it can happen in this dimension, that we can lift in the other dimensions as well. And that the eternal light will return to every corner of space and every galaxy and every wormhole and every place. And we shall celebrate intergalactic brotherhood and sisterhood. I am so grateful for all of it. I'm grateful for every person, and I'm grateful for Nola. Oh my God, Nola, my assistant, who makes the most beautiful post on Instagram, and who alerts everyone and keeps them up to date with everything, and spends extra hours in the office just doing everything she can to support everyone in the tribe and every person out there who is waking up. Nola, thank you. Thank you so much for always being by my side, waking me up every morning and opening up the windows and telling me the most beautiful things to start my day, and making a smoothie for me, and running down the list of things we need to do so we can support the world. And I'm very grateful for you. Day 30, everyone. Day 30. Day 30. I am so grateful for everyone, and I'm grateful for God's love. I'm grateful for the angels and everyone. Be grateful, 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 giving of life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you so much. Okay. So day 30, we are going to be discussing from our other remembrance course, right, is talking about these elemental allies. Now, so whatever elemental ally that you tapped into, that you have a relationship with, when we did those shamanic tests to see what type of powers do you have, right? So that means what elemental ally has governed you to access power and magic and ancient wisdom in this world, and what is it that they brought to you? What is it that you can do with that, and how does that operate in the world? Now, this is the first level of this knowledge. There goes into many combinations and so forth, but we're going to keep it very simple. So we're going to start with fire, okay? So fire is an amazing elemental ally. Fire is great, and I made a little list so I keep my notes in so I can completely stay on track. So fire is wonderful because fire helps pull deep pain out of the body, and it helps wounds to heal. So whenever you are dealing with elemental spirits, right? And you understand that we're tapping into magic, right? So magic basically means consciousness and will combined with play, and also with the elements. So it's the acknowledgement of the will, consciousness, which means bringing your consciousness for the greater good of all people, right? The playfulness of it, which is being a child, and then also the elements. So what element do you wield in to create, right? And so as we are walking, living creators in these biological spacesuits, it's important for us to be able to have access to our abilities that the Matrix would otherwise not have us have access to, and have us continue operating on a conveyor belt of slavery and consumerism, and getting things that we don't really need, and filling up some vacuous hole that they keep creating by these television commercials and all these different things that just really have distracted humanity from seeing how amazing and powerful we are individually and collectively. And so when we acknowledge fire, you can burn fat with fire. You can clean out negative, stagnant energies in rooms. You can clean out negative and stagnant energies in your body or someone else's body. You can, literally, I can give you an example. Like, you can use the fire element if you walk into a room and it's like super heavy and super intense. You can set fire to the room and burn out all of that. And that really, it's a resurrection of energy. Fire resurrects energy. So if you look at nature, when fire and forest fires happen, right, the nature burns, but then the earth rebuilds, right? And so it's a resurrection. It's a death and rebirth energy. And it's important for cleaning out those deep, 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 deep core wounds. One time I was with a friend of mine, and he was from Pakistan. And, I just put my hand on him and I called fire through his body, and he just started shaking and then just wailing and crying and crying and crying, right? And so we want to clean out those energies, and it's really good, like, especially if you you have people around you. Like I always create what is called fire barriers. So anyone who walks through my front door, I have fire there. So if they come with any ill intention or they're not in their highest truth of love yet, or they're holding on to some kind of fragmented behavioral pattern that I don't want to be exposed to in my temple or in my sanctuary, I have fire at the door that literally, so when they walk through, it immediately starts burning it out, right? And burning that energy out. But fire is also really good for increasing passion. So increasing passion and determination, giving you strength and courage, right? Fire is great for that. And fire is really good for allowing you to be able to see quantumly, because fire is moving in all these different areas. So fire flickers, it moves this way, it moves this way, it moves this way, it moves this way. So in shamanism, fire is the seer. It allows you to be able to see in all directions and to be aware of all directions at one time, where you can take action and move in any of those directions. So fire is really good for that as well. And like, let's say, for instance, like you want to uncover something, like you want to remove an obstacle. Fire moves obstacles. So you can burn away those energies. And it warms and opens up the body to create harmony, which is amazing because it dispels dark energy clingers. These are energies which come in from like people who've stayed at your home or you've been around who have all these negative energies. And all of a sudden you're just like, why do I feel like heavy and all of this? Just burn that off of you, right? And fire is really good. Again, remember I said it's a death and rebirther. So anything that you're holding on to, like a belief or an emotion or something that just needs to go and be reborn, you use fire. So it's really, really powerful and amazing, and something really special. And there's all these other things with fire, and also, fire is the friend to the phoenix. Exactly. The phoenix goes and rises out of the ashes in the flame. And so when we understand fire element, we use fire from death and rebirth. And in shamanism, we learn how to play with fire as a way to access energies that go beyond what people think is possible. So like, for instance, fire spirits would be like the salamander spirit or jinn. In a lot of Muslim cultures, people are afraid of the jinn because in certain Muslim cultures in their old ways, they used to be in harmony with the jinn, and then they had falling outs with the jinn. But the jinn, they want to make it be this dark thing. The jinn isn't dark. The jinn is just a strong power, right? And so whatever you wish into the fire, your wishes will come true. It's the whole understanding of the genie, right? And the genie comes out of the bottle, and goes, what is your 3 wishes, right? So we got to be mindful when we use the fire, right? And the salamander spirit as well, because if you are not honoring the salamander spirit can be very rambunctious and all start setting fires to all types of things in your life. And so we don't need that. So we don't want to be afraid of anything as beings of light, right? So salamander jinn operating in the fire energy is really powerful, and it's really good to bring that balance of that life and death and rebirth. So if you ever go through a situation where you feel like life has been really challenging or difficult for you, and you have that fire element, you can burn yourself into death, into rebirth as the phoenix, right? And that's really powerful. Really powerful, thing. And so, and if you are using fire to make wishes and so forth, right? It's also, again, it's about you coming clean. It's coming clean. It doesn't mean like I had a situation once with this girl who, her and her boyfriend were constantly arguing. It was completely driving me insane. And every time I would go to dinner at their house, one time I just went to dinner and I was just like, this is the last time I'm coming to your house for dinner. And they're like, why? I'm like, because you both argue and you bicker, and it's poisonous and it's toxic, and you're killing your plants, you're killing my cells, but of course not, because I have a force field up, but still I'm exposed to it. So I always have to clean myself after leaving your house. And you're killing the neighbors around you because that energy is spreading out, and it's not pleasant, And so here's the deal. The deal is this: you want a girl in your life, I told my buddy, that is, understands where you're at. You have a startup company. You want someone who's on that road with you, not someone who's like, I want the Bentley, I want the car, I want the this, and I want the that. And I looked at her and I said, you want a man who has money. And let's be honest. She goes, well, it sounds like you're saying that I'm a gold digger. And I'm like, instead of you saying I'm a gold digger, digger and making it a negative thing. How about just be honest about it? Yes, you are a gold digger, and just be okay with the fact that you want a man with money. And there's nothing wrong with that. You are the one putting the judgment on it because you're afraid other people are going to judge you for your truth. So when you come to fire, you got to step with truth, right? You have to step with truth. It's in the eyes of truth. So your wishes won't happen if you come and you pretend like you say, oh, I want a new car. And you say you really want a Lamborghini, but in fact, you're asking for a Pinto because you're afraid that you're asking for too much and it makes you look superficial. Then you're being fake with fire and you're going to get burned, right? And so again, really understand fire spirit does not play. If you don't know how to harness the fire, and you just start small with your power with fire and build it up. But if you don't know how to harness the power of fire, then stop messing with it, because fire can get crazy when you're not in what we call reverence and understanding and truth with it, right? So literally, that's the energy of jinn and salamanders. Like either you step in with truth. So when she finally acknowledged that she was a gold digger and it was okay for her to be a gold digger, the man walked right into her life, and she lives this fabulous life. She's got her houses, her cars, she's doing all her things, and she turned her life into something completely different from being that person who was superficial. She actually ended up going to India and becoming this amazing guru, and gave up all of those things and focused more on her spirit. But it doesn't matter the journey she took. It was the fact that she was willing to step to fire and be honest. And that's really important, right? And so, again, we want to understand these things. And really, when you use fire, you understand the element of fire and the ally and the relationship. Now, if you want to build your fire relationship, which is like, we say in shamanism, like if fire isn't your strongest power, you want to build a relationship with fire, so fire starts to merge with your energy, right? Because when we did the task the other day and fire wasn't your strength, that's because you don't have a good relationship with fire. Maybe you were burned in a fire in another lifetime, or something happened to you where you lost your family because of fire. It could be multiple things in other lifetimes where you and fire just didn't see eye to eye, right? Again, the thing is to heal with the fire. So make offerings to the fire. Take rosemary and throw it on the fire. Give it offerings. Throw things to the fire. Sit with the fire. Look into the fire and give love to the fire. And repeat that until you start to build your power up with fire and really create that relationship. Show that you respect the fire and you watch its dance and you appreciate its dance within the flame. Okay. Like a lot of times I'll sit with my nieces and I'll sit with my girlfriend and we'll sit and look at the fire. Especially with my girlfriend, we do a lot of stuff with fire and we see the fire moving, and me and her get excited and we giggle and we laugh together because the fire is dancing for us, and it's such a beautiful dance, right? And so when you honor that level of acknowledgement of the fire, you then begin to flourish with the fire, and the fire becomes your ally, and it will support you and it will help you. And so it's really beautiful. So, and you can make all kinds of offerings. You can take all types of dried flowers and things and throw it to the fire. You can dance with the fire. That's a way of honoring it, like follow its dance. Fire's movement. So it's all like, these intense like movements, So, being with that fire energy is really important. So next we go into ice. And that's actually what's funny, because my girlfriend, both of our powers are ice, which is hilarious. I always call her the real Elsa because she really is. And literally, ice is such a powerful thing. I remember when she was tapping into her ice power, the whole room turned, like we had people over. The room turned. The room turned freezing cold, like we were shivering. Okay, and ice is a very powerful ally. Okay, so ice opens up pathways and doorways. Okay, and the ice spirit, right, which is really powerful, holds the element of both the water and the air. So it becomes ice, and it's a combination spirit. And so literally what it can do is open up doorways to hidden energy. It increases metabolism and reduces inflammation. So ice is great when someone has a high fever. Like one time, I had a friend and they said, Dirk, can you come over? My kid's fever is way too high. And I went into the room and I was talking to her son, And he said, Mom sent you in here. And I said, yes, I love you. And let's turn your bed to ice so you can sleep really nice. And let's drop that fever and, use ice power and so forth. And the kid was like, oh my God, you made my whole bed turn to ice. How did you do that? Because you're using ice power, right? And so ice is really, really important power. And also ice is great because it removes dark matter. That means like energies that have that are inside of things. So like let's say for instance, you have a wall or floor or a house and someone was in that house and they were arguing and fighting, or let's say someone died or there was a war on your street and they built a city over it. Like New York City is the perfect place to use ice because New York was built on Native American land and taken from the Native American, from the fur traders. And so there's a lot of pain. And then they had wars with each other when they built up their settlements. And there's a lot of suffering there too. So all of that's going through the buildings and moving through, right? And so having ice to clear those energies out of matter and out of things. So you can create that energy. It's really powerful. And also ice is wonderful because it changes the mindset and it clears, so allowing the voices of spiritual attacks. So spirits, if you learn how to use your ice power, they'll be very scared of you because you can trap them in ice and you can trap energies in ice. Let's say you go into a room and there's like this dark cloud because the person in there doesn't know how to use their empathic abilities and they become what we call just empathically irresponsible, right? Responsible empaths. And they're just spewing all their emotions so that you can feel their suffering, so they can know you feel their suffering, so they feel like their suffering makes sense to them. And no one wants that. No one likes you going around, like just spewing out all your emotional suffering because of the fact that you want other people to feel your suffering or how much pain you're in, so you want them to feel your pain too. I can't tell you how many people's homes I've gone to where it's like dark cloud for days, and I just immediately create ice in the room and freeze that energy and then explode it into tiny little crystals of energy. And literally ice is so powerful because it clears those energies and any type of spirit attacks. Like if you have a spirit that is like a spirit that's what we call disembodied spirit that is had gone through a lot of volatile experiences and it's around you, creating havoc around you, you just freeze the room, freeze the energy. It just stops them immediately. Like it can't. It literally ice is so powerful. It can do so much. It can go microscopically into your body and find like the deep, like microscopic things inside of you, like viruses or things inside of your body, certain pathways inside of your body that you're not aware of. And ice is great because it can locate old knowledge and things. That means that we're using ice, you might hold a crystal and or you might be sitting in nature, touching a stone or a tree, and all of a sudden you just feel it and you feel energy and you feel information because you've been, doing and stepping into your remembrance on how to use your shamanic gifts. But then all of a sudden, you want to go deeper and you bring ice, and the ice will travel you through the networking system to find exactly what you're looking for. And that's really amazing, if you ask me. And so there's a lot of reasons we use ice, and ice is really powerful. If you want to like also go into people's thoughts, like if you bring ice to someone, you can actually isolate their thinking, so you can hear what they're saying in their head about you. Like sometimes I'll walk in the room. Like one time I was in Turkey, and there was a bunch of people talking about me in the room, not out loud. They were talking about me, but then I wasn't in the room, and then I walked in the room. And I could hear them still talking about what they talked about, thinking about what they had just talked about me with each other. And I froze the room with ice and heard all of their thoughts and said out loud, if you don't like me doing shamanic stuff here and you think that the people are crying and throwing up and it's too much for you, then instead of you being passive aggressive, why don't you just tell me so I can find a place that's suitable for me and you can have the people that's suitable for you. And they're like, oh, no, Jenna, we love you here. We love you. We want you here. I'm like, cut the crap. I just went into your thoughts and read all your thoughts, and all of you were talking about me. Now, I don't want to have to use my powers every time I enter a room because you're unwilling to be honest. You see, I'm not into that. And one time I was in a relationship, and the person got in, came into the room, and I touched them, and I was using an ice because I just wanted to. Because I asked them, I was like, how have you been? You seem very unhappy, and all this stuff in our relationship. And I touched them, and all of a sudden I wanted to see, so I used ice. and I saw that they had an affair on me. So I was like, well, why didn't you tell me? Like, why didn't you let me know? Because ice uncovers things. It literally goes in and uncovers things. And it takes out all the things that people try to hide and brings it to the light. It's really, really amazing. And I can't begin to tell you how amazing ice is. That's why I can never get away with anything with my girlfriend. And if she's on here, she'll basically tell you, because literally I could say something and then all of a sudden I feel her ice powers and I can feel her going into my thoughts, and it changed my words immediately. I'm like, oh no, this is exactly what I meant. And then she just starts laughing and she's like, oh my God, I almost got you. I almost caught you. I almost got you. And I was like, but you didn't, because I felt you going in and I got you, so we don't hide anything from each other because we can't, because we're both iced and we can see everything. Like there's no hiding. So it's super transparent. There's no hiding. There's nothing. It's just there. So, and sometimes I'll catch myself like mid-sentence because I'm about to like say a little like, what we call white lie. And I feel her using her powers and I just stop and I'm like, da-da-da-da-da. And she's like, I was going to get you. So it's really powerful energy. So I encourage you all to, if you do have ice power, to really practice using it. It's amazing. I've gone into boardrooms where I've sat on in people's companies and used ice and listened and read. Like I was doing stuff for the Mondrian Hotel where I go in and I meet with all the manager of the hotel and all the staffing and everything. And I had them in the big room upstairs on top of the hotel. And the people always ask me to come in, different companies will ask me to come in and be like, so what do you see? I go, well, you are about to leave. And they're like, and they look around and look at each other and he's like, what? I'm like, no, you're going to quit soon. So you're unhappy. So talk about your unhappiness. And they're just like, how did you know that? And I was like, because I used ice. I went into your thoughts. I heard your thinking. I heard your feelings. Everything came clear. So, right. So it's also, again, when I talk about using these allies and powers through your being, it's about respect and reverence. Just because you hear something or get something doesn't mean the person is bad. It's just we're all growing, okay? And sometimes I've caught friends saying really mean things about me, and I just say, look, if there's things that are bothering you, I just want you to come clean and let me know. And then they're like, yeah, things have bothered me. I feel like there's this and that, and I feel like you contradict yourself in this. And I'm like, well, spirituality is contradiction, so I can understand why you see that. The person you saw yesterday is not who I am today. So again, I might change my mind. I might say I love yoga today, and tomorrow I can't stand yoga. Or I might say I love green, and tomorrow I don't want to have anything to do with green. So that's a part of my evolution. And I had to explain that to them. And they're like, oh, I get it. Like I've been like thinking like this is who you are and this is how it's going to stay. Like, no, it evolves, it grows, right? So that's what we have to be comfortable with that. So again, utilizing that ice is really, really important, important power. And in other courses of remembrance, we will go into that as well. Okay. And then for those of you who had magnet is a very powerful ally, because magnetic energy is what is literally, how can I say, how would you like me to say that, spirits? Yeah, it literally is the blueprint of all manifestation. It is the very core of what keeps magic and all of the energies being able to connect and move and expand, and it's expansive. It's really powerful. And a magnet draws people. It expands energy. It increases magic. It increases healing. It makes spells stronger. If you're doing spells, make sure all your spells are governed towards the all-inclusiveness for everyone on the planet. And spells aren't just things that you burn in the night in candles and dancing upon cauldrons. Spells are also prayers. Things you say to people, words you tell people. Like if someone comes to you and says, I'm starting a business, and you go and start telling them about all the horrible businesses that failed, you're doing a spell, right? And a lot of times I have to let people know that because they think spells are like something you burn a candle and you do all this stuff. Spells also are generated in sorceress way, in a sorcerer and wizard's way, which comes from your mouth, right? And that also creates magnetic expansion and effects. So again, when you feel laughter when you are making love with someone, when you are sharing a hug with someone. That's why I tell people, don't pat people when you hug them, because you break up magnetic energetic energy from growing and building. So when you hug someone, you're actually healing the world. So when you hug someone, you're creating you're bringing two magnetic energies together, and they're merging into each other and creating this huge crescendo of energy that goes out to every place in the world that is decreasing in magnetic flow, which brings healing to people in hospitals, and women who have children, people who are making decisions about what choices they're going to make, and how things are manifesting and showing up, and how nature is growing and adapting with us, and we are adapting with nature. All is from magnetic energy. And so, again, magnetic energy is also what keeps us connected to the invisible realms and into the physical realm. And science is going to find that magnetic energy not only can heal on deep levels, it can also transmit energy and vibration and send technology through codes into outer space and into other places, which we will find out more and more as humans begin to acknowledge the different levels of magnetic energy that exist, both invisible and also tangible. So magnetic energy is really important. And also, magnetic energy unlocks spells, codes, curses, hexes, evil eyes, anything that is held in energy and power. Magnetic energy can completely take apart. One time I'm dancing in Ibiza and the music was amazing, and we were like, it was like black coffee, and I was just like dancing in black coffee, and like all these girls came up close to me and all these people were crowding around me, and I had no space to dance, and I was just like, ugh, I need to dance. I need to get I got to be able to spin and move and dip and dive and do all these things, and all these people are on me. I feel like a sardine in a can, just like, you know, and I didn't come to Ibiza to be a sardine in a can, you know. So what I did was I looked at my friend and he goes, Derek, just do it. I'm like, okay. And I just blasted magnetic energy through my body and used it as a force to push everyone away from me. And it created this circle around me where I was able to dance and move and do all these things. And I teach my students how to use magnetic energy. And when I say my students, meaning those who are here to remember, okay? How to use magnetic energy by pushing. You can push people across the room. You can pull them to you. I've demonstrated this on stage in front of thousands of people, how you can utilize magnetic energy. You can pull things. You can pull poisons out of people's bodies. You can bring love into their body. You can bring abundance, prosperity in their body. Magnetic energy is super powerful. So if that was one of your allies, you know, that means that you've built a strong connection to the magnetic field and the spirits that govern that field, which is very powerful. So I wanted to share that with you. And then we have electricity. So if your ally was electricity, okay, electricity is an amazing ally. Electricity balances out energy. So sometimes if you have done like one-on-one sessions with yourself, with me, you know, and I teach you how to bring electricity into your body or to hold it and you feel it like coming off your fingers. I was in this interview in London with the London Times, and they brought in this woman. It was the best experience ever. So they brought in this woman named Anna Max, and she came in and she's like, look, I come from a family of scientists. My husband is a scientist. My kids are scientists. I'm a scientist. I don't believe in all these types of things, but I'm here to interview and all this kind of stuff. And I have all these questions. And it was a press ducket. So we had like other press coming. So it was like slot times for them to sit with me. So go in the room. I was like, do you want to see something? And she's like, yeah. And so I showed her how to access electricity, and she saw sparks come off her fingers, and she was so like completely taken by the experience. She had to like tell my publicist in London, I need to go for a walk. And she walked around Trafalgar Square, like reframed all her thoughts that she had. All the thoughts she had for the interview that went completely out the door, because she couldn't believe that this level of power exists and that we have not been given this ability to see these powers exist. And so she came back in and she was just like, what did I just go through? You just flipped my whole world upside down. I can't even begin to tell you. You've changed my whole point of view. There's so much I don't know. What is this? I said, this is electricity. And so this electricity that we use in shamanism, and what you use all the time, but you don't even realize you're doing it, right? There's highs and lows in that electricity. So if your body has a lot of electricity, and doing some of the techniques, like if you listen to my meditations on Ancient Wisdom Today podcast, I've infused some of the journeys with electricity. So your body will start shaking, and some people will write me and be like, I couldn't stop shaking and I was yawning and all this stuff was happening. is because your body is being equalized with electricity. And electricity increases your power, and it opens up deep communication with nature, your body, and spirit. It literally creates a cohesive network of communication. And not just that, but it also opens up neuroplasticity in your brain that allows your brain to create new neural pathways and open up new synapses. And it allows your brain to shift out of those dormant stages of your brain and opens up higher stages of your brain. A lot of times when people who are religious will talk about the Holy Spirit, and they say the Holy Spirit's coming in, they feel this electrical current going through, because the Holy Spirit generates the electricity as well, because it's all coming from this outer lining of the spirit world. So all of the dimensions that exist in our dimension and other dimensions and all the many rooms and mansions in God's mansion, all are governed by this beautiful bluish white electricity that keeps them all where they need to be and keeps the power of all those dimensions interacting with each other. So everything that we're doing here on Earth is actually affecting another planet in another solar system in another galaxy. And every time we do anything here, it affects nature, and everything we do to nature affects us because of this electricity. And so that is the reason why we want to really learn how to harness this electricity to heal the earth, to heal ourselves, and to create power and balance within the energetic fields. And this is a powerful energy. Like if you are a psychic person or you have intuition and you keep increasing electricity in your body, your psychic powers are going to go skyrocketing. Your intuition is going to be like unheard of. Like I have people who've trained remembrance training with me. Remember when I say training, you're just remembering, who are able to like literally go in the room and create an electrical charge through the whole entire room and literally create so many amazing things in people's lives. It's something special. One time I was at my girlfriend's house and her kid was acting out, and I sent a shock wave. I shocked him. And so because he was running, because she was trying to give him his medicine, and she goes, "Durek, can you help here?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I sent a shock wave to him, and he shook and he fell down on the floor. And he's like, "Mommy, I don't like it when shaman uses his powers on me." But the thing is, we started laughing because the only thing we had to get him to take his medicine. So we had to use electricity on him. But then he came to me later and was like, "Can you teach me how to do this?" And I said, "Absolutely." And so I started teaching him how to use electricity. And he said, and it has helped him. I mean, this kid is like riding motorcycles, building technology, doing all these things. And he's only 5 years old. And he's so smart because he's upgraded his intelligence through allowing his brain and his left and right hemisphere of his brain to become electrified, which allows more, connection to all the different realms. And therefore he's downloading all this energy. And when I say downloading, I mean, he's a part of it. So it's really powerful. And then we have water. Now, water is a wonderful ally. So when you did the shamanic test and our other 30 Days Strong, and you got water, I want you to play with the water, just like you would play with any of the allies, right? Which I showed you how to do in the other 30 Days Strong. Water absorbs radiation, it creates flow, it relaxes and opens communication in the cells. It opens up connection to the universal energy that heals. And it also takes apart control, anxiety, and any type of needing to decompress the system. So like, I'll give you an example. Like one time I have this Wall Street exec, okay? And I'm teaching him how to use his powers. And so we use magnet, and he can't feel it. Okay, so what we did was we ran water through his system and from the spirit world into his body, and all of a sudden he felt his powers get stronger and stronger and stronger. So we ran more water through his system, and again, it got stronger and stronger and stronger. And same thing, like if you're a person and you're doing healing on someone and they're like, "I didn't feel anything," that's because either one, they have control, they have stubbornness, or they are block their energy. You run water through them. So water is great because water opens up and it pulls away, it absorbs. And if you did some of the remembrance training in 30 Days Strong, we had a shamanic water remembrance that we taught you how to use water. But water is amazing. So like if you take a bath and lay in the bath, throw some crystals in there, right? And then put your hands in the water and ask the water spirits to increase electricity or take you back to a memory, or ask them to take you into another dimension, and just just go into that space, it's amazing. And also, if you have like a breathing tank or some kind of something you can breathe, like a tube. It's another exercise which I teach my students, where you get like a tube and you plug your nose and you put the tube in your mouth and you go into the bath water and you have the tube out so you can breathe through the tube, and you practice asking the water to take you into another dimension. You will slip into a stargate and access into other worlds and other dimensions. And it's really, really powerful. And connect into other deeper energies and so forth. I had a woman who was listening to a meditation on ancient wisdom today, and she did the meditation while being in the tub, and said she saw some being glowing on the side of her tub, and her body was shaking in the tub and all this stuff. And she's like, "Is that normal? I've never had this experience before." I said, "Of course, you're just opening up powers. Don't put fear into it. Just in journey and observe, right?" And so again, water allows, right? It allows flow, it allows connection, it allows the network of spirit and energy to move without resistance, right? So even if you're a water sign, doesn't necessarily mean your powers are water. So just remember, if you're a water sign or a fire sign, people are like, "Oh, I'm a fire sign, I'm a water sign, I have water powers." That doesn't mean that. I know people who are fire signs and they have no connection to fire. Right. And so, again, it's based on the test that we did in the other 30 Days Strong, so that you can understand which element, which circle was it in. Was it in your first circle, your second, or your third, or was it completely away from that? And do you need to build with that? So again, acknowledging building with water would be to make water offerings to the ocean, to the river. Perhaps you support water conservation companies and things where you show water spirit that you really do love water spirit and that you are joining in that relationship. And the same with, with electricity. With electricity, it's all about communication, how you talk to people. When you talk to people, do you electrify them with your words? This is how you give back to electricity. You create the connection stronger. And that means what? Doing rituals. Make a life about a ritual. So like if you open your car door, say, "I'm opening the door to possibilities." If you take out the trash, "I'm taking out the things I no longer need." Using electricity is about creating magic. Magic is about awareness and will and playfulness. So having fun, right, is also, so that's a wonderful way to give offerings to the magnetic energy. And water. Now we have earth, okay? And earth is a grounder. It's a container. It holds energy. So the stronger you are with the earth, the more your vessel can hold, right? And also, earth gives you access to ancient wisdom and knowledge that has been filtered into the earth from the water spirits that the earth holds on to. So all the people from all throughout history who drank water and peed, and that went back into the water source, that water went into the earth. The earth took all the information into the soils and into the roots and into the deep earth to let the earth know how to adapt with those who are on top of the crust, or who are sharing this planet and on the earth, right? So Gaia, right, our beloved Terra, Gaia, Pachamama, however you want to interpret Gaia, right, is an intelligent technology that uses the elemental technology as a resource to feed back information about animals and about the species that is operating with her. So every time you drink water and go to the bathroom, and every time you do anything, the earth knows exactly where you are and knows exactly what's going on. The earth is more intelligent than most human beings understand. The earth is listening to all of everything that is going on, from the wind spirits, from the water spirits, from everything. And the earth knows what we're up to and what we're doing. And so the earth learns from our behavior. It knows. That's why some areas you'll know in shamanism, we'll say, like, when you look around the plants in certain, if you see more plants that are much more protective plants in a certain area or region, that means that the energy on the outside is very aggressive, and those plants have now prepared themselves for whatever aggressive energies they have to now deal with. So nature evolves with us, and nature also helps us to evolve. It's this beautiful dance with each other. So when you hold earth energy, you are able to increase evolution in people. You can also hold energy in such a powerful way for healing for them. And you can also bring wisdom. So you can be a person who can bring great wisdom to a person as well as you're able to take in the knowledge out of other people. So like, for instance, I have a girlfriend, she lives in Buenos Aires, and she has Earth Ally, and she's been, doing shamanic training, remembrance with me for more than 6 years. And she has developed her Earth ability so strong that she can literally touch a person and download all their wisdom into her being, and then take that wisdom and utilize the knowledge from it. She can touch a tree and download all the information from where that tree and what it has experienced throughout time, and bring it in her body and reorganize it in a way where she can access the information to utilize it for when she needs to bring that knowledge and wisdom. Remember, I told you, wisdom is a gateway to another dimension, right? And knowledge is just knowledge, but it doesn't become wise until you understand where to use it and where to place it. So again, Earth Spirit, the animals of Earth Spirit are the fairies, the gnomes, the elves, the druids, the beings who caretake the land, the sacred ones, right? And we look at them and we honor them and we acknowledge them, because they're very powerful and they create a balance and structure and foundation, which is so important. And when we look at the spirits of the water, we're talking about the undying spirits. Those are the spirits that allow water's energy and power to be able to listen to you. And so when we did the shamanic water healing, those were the spirits that were listening to you and taking instruction from you and then bringing it through the water. If you've taken any of my water shamanic remembrance courses that I've done in New York, you've learned how to turn water into fire, and water into electricity, and water into emotions. And you can bring like water where someone can drink it and all of a sudden poison start coming out of their body. There's all these things. And so I encourage you, when you see me doing workshops, please join, because there's a lot of things for you to remember that will assist you in your power and what you're able to do on the planet. So it's very important for that as well. And then we have air. And air is the carrier messenger. Air increases psychic abilities. Air gives information. It shares information, but not just information. You're talking symbols. You're talking information that moves in and out of things. Air is the conductor. It is known as the conductor. And so when there's air conducts energy, and also air generates a frequency that allows consciousness to expand. So when we connect with the air element, right, it's wonderful to clear negative energies, to move energies and stagnant vibrations, stagnicity, bring it through the air. Your mind, someone's mind isn't in the right place. The mind of the world is not in the right place. You want to bring the air. The air allows your information to speak to spirit and life, and accelerates the capacity for energy flow, and makes it so you're able to travel in between dimensions. When you learn how to move on the air, you understand that when you see the picture of the witch on the broom over the, like, flying through the moon in the air, what it was a symbolism is that she has been able to understand the air spirit, so she's able to move on the currents of the air and to travel. And this is a very powerful skill that shamans have used. Sometimes there will be shamans and tribes that will sit and wait for the wind to come, and then they will tell the wind to take their spirit into the wind and take them somewhere. And they may travel to another place of the earth and watch what people are doing. Or they may travel and ask the wind to give to take them somewhere that they need to go. The wind will carry them there. They need to travel into another dimension. The wind will take them there. And also, shamans will also ask the wind to give them information. Like one time I arrived in Iceland, I had no idea what was going on in Iceland, and I knew I had to be on Channel 2 News was doing this big story about me arriving in Iceland. And literally, I got off the plane, and the wind blew on my face, and I said, "Tell me, what are the things that you see that people are having difficulty here with? What is the consciousness of Iceland? What are the things that are that you've noticed, wind spirit?" And the wind told me everything. So when I got to the TV and we were on TV, and they asked me, "So, what do you feel Iceland needs?" And I started breaking down everything, and they were just like, "And how did you get this when you just got off the plane?" And I was telling them, the wind gave it to me. The wind told me everything about what you guys are all doing. The wind told me about your thinking and what's been holding you back and what's limiting your evolution, and what are things you're harboring inside mentally that's causing all kinds of conflict amongst your society. It tells me everything. All I need to do is listen to the wind. And so, again, air is wonderful because air also moves energy. So if you have stagnant energy and things aren't manifesting the way you want to bring air into, you want to ask the air spirits, which is really powerful. And so the spirit of the air is known as the slips. The slips. And the slip spirits are the carrier spirits. What they do is carry knowledge and information. And so they're very powerful and they're amazing to utilize in opening up deeper awareness. So let's say, for instance, you have someone and they're going through a difficult time. You can whisper to the wind and whisper into their mind. I have whispered into people's minds across the world to have an image of me so that one day when they see me, they can find me. You know, there's all kinds of things that you can do, and it's really powerful. Slips. It's like SYPHES. I have to look it up. I didn't win the spelling bee, but you can look it up. And they're called slips, but that's how you say it, like slips. And so basically, it's really important to understand how to utilize these elementals. That's it. SLYPH. Thank you. That's how you say it. And it's so important to understand your relationship to these powers because you can do so much with them. And when you build your relationship with the ones that you haven't built relationship with, they can join on and you become even more powerful. And I encourage you to embrace the elements and to be in union with the elements and see how the elements show up in your life. Like when you turn on a stove and you see the fire, there's fire. Oh, look at that. When you open the window, the wind's coming in. Oh, look at that, right? So all of these things are in your natural environment that we don't even see, that's a part of us every single day. When the moon is coming, there's the magnetic energy. Wow. So if you have magnet is not strong with you, get under the moon and dance. When the moon comes, take your clothes off, get into your underwears if you don't feel like being naked, and dance, because the less barriers of clothes you have on you, the easier it is for your skin to absorb the magnetic energy frequencies of the moon. Or make moon water. Every time I tell the tribe, make moon water. Get a bottle, a glass, put water in it, put your crystal in it, put it under the moon. Right? And then use that water. You can put lavender in it, you can put rose water in there, you can dress it up with some basil and whatever, and you got moon water. Build that magnetic energy, because the more magnetic energy you have, the more you're going to be able to manifest and the quicker you're going to manifest. And that's powerful. So, wow. Has it really come to that time? It has. I only can say one thing, and that's I love you. And even that word isn't as suffice as I'd like it. So I would say Amala Ashe. Amala Ashe. You've done me the greatest gift, which is to be powerful and to know how amazing you are. I know it has come to the end of 30 Days Strong. And I'm so happy to open up the storage house of all the shamanic knowledge and teachings that I have to give to you for your remembrance. Remember, we walk this path together. We walk together. And I'm so happy. And I encourage you to share 30 Days Strong. For those who haven't, it will be up on KNEKT TV. It'll be up on YouTube. You know, I encourage you to share it with people. I love you so much, and it has given me great joy. These 30 days have given me the greatest joy to be of service, which is the greatest thing that makes me happy more than anything in the world, is to be of service. More than anything in the world, it gives me ducky happiness for days. So I love you. I cherish you. I honor you. I see you. I know you. And I'm thankful for you. I'm so proud of all of you for learning shamanism and inviting your powers back into your life through your remembrance. Remember, I don't teach you. I share with you for your remembrance. We are in this thing together. The age of guruism is over. The age of hierarchy is over. And this is the time of sister and brotherhood, walking, loving, and building a greater world from love. I love you. I'll never stop loving you. In this life and all other lifetimes. I love you. Love you, darlings. Bye.